Things are coming out of my skin, Mama.
The phone rang at 3 a.m. A mother in Owerri picked up. She heard her daughter's voice, but it did not sound like her daughter. It sounded like someone drowning on dry land. Mama? One word. That is all she could manage. Mama? My body. Something is happening to my body. The mother asked what was wrong. The girl said 7 words that no mother should ever hear. Things are coming out of my skin. What happened to Adaogo in that apartment in Lekki, what crawled out of her body while a man she trusted slept in the next room, is not a story I enjoy telling. But it is a story you need to hear. Because the thing that destroyed Adaogo was not a monster, it was not a demon, it was not a curse from an enemy. It was a choice. Hers. Gather clues. This one is not for the faint-hearted. Adaogo was not a fool. I need to start there because this is not the story of a stupid girl who did not know any better. Adaogo was sharp, quick, the kind of girl who could read a room in 10 seconds and know exactly who had money and who was pretending. She grew up in Lagos, Surulere, third of 5 children. Her father drove a taxi. Her mother sold provisions in a small shop attached to the front of their house. They were not poor, but they were not comfortable either. Every month was a calculation. School fees against rent, food against transport, choosing which bill to pay and which one to beg for more time. Adaogo watched this her entire life, and she made a decision very early. She said to herself, I will never live like this. Not a bad decision. A lot of people make that decision. It is what you do after the decision that matters. Adaogo was beautiful. She knew it, not in a vain way, in a strategic way. She understood that beauty was currency in Lagos, and she intended to spend it wisely. She finished secondary school, good grades, but university was expensive. Her father could not afford it. Her mother cried about it. Adaogo did not cry. She smiled. Mama, don't worry. I will find a way. Her mother looked at her, and for a moment, just a flash, something crossed her mother's face. Not pride, fear. Because her mother knew what find a way meant in Lagos. By 19, Adaogo had a system. She was not a runs girl, she would tell you that herself. She was selective, strategic. She did not follow every man with a car. She watched, she studied. She learned to tell the difference between a man who had money and a man who was pretending to have money. She had rules. Rule 1, never fall in love. Love makes you stupid. Rule 2, always keep your own place, never move in with a man. That gives him power. Rule 3, the moment a man starts acting strange, leave. No questions, no second chances, just leave. Good rules, smart rules, rules she would break, every single one, for one man. But before I tell you about him, you need to understand something about Adaogo. She was not reckless, she was not desperate. She had been in the Lagos game for 2 years by the time she met him. She had seen things. She had walked away from situations that would make your skin crawl. She thought she was untouchable. She thought she had seen every trick. She had not, because the man she was about to meet was not playing tricks. He was running something much older and much darker. His name was Tobechukwu. Everyone called him Tobe. She met him in a lounge in Victoria Island. Not a club, a lounge, the kind of place where a bottle of champagne cost more than her father made in 2 weeks. Adaogo was there with a friend. The friend had a man, the man had a friend, that friend was Tobe. He was not the loudest person in the room. That was the first thing she noticed. In Lagos, men with money are usually loud. They want you to see the watch, hear the car keys, know the price of the shirt. Tobe was quiet. He sat back. He listened more than he talked. When he did talk, it was low, calm, like he had nothing to prove to anyone. Adaogo's radar went off immediately, but not the warning radar, the opportunity radar. This one is different, she thought. This one is real. He did not ask for her number that night. He asked for her Instagram. Smart, she thought, not desperate. He followed her, she followed back. He liked a few pictures, not too many, not too few. He commented once, something simple, something clever. A week later, a DM. I enjoyed meeting you the other night. You are the only person at that table who was actually interesting. She smiled at her phone. She was hooked and she did not even know it. Let me stop here. I know what some of you are thinking. She should have known. The signs were there. No, the signs were not there. That is the point. Tobe did not make mistakes. He did not move too fast. He did not love bomb her. He did not shower her with gifts on day one. He was patient. Weeks of talking before the first date. The first date was dinner, just dinner. He paid. He did not try to take her home. He said goodnight and left. The second date, a movie, same thing, good night. The third date, he bought her a small gift, not expensive, a book. He said he thought she would like it. She did. Do you see what he was doing? He was not buying her, he was earning her trust, brick by brick, conversation by conversation, small gesture by small gesture. By the time the big gift started, she was already in. Month 2, he gave her money to help with her mother's shop rent. Not a lot, just enough, just the right amount to feel like care, not payment. Month 3, a new phone. Your screen is cracked, it bothers me. Month 4, he asked her to come stay with him for the weekend, his apartment in Lekki. She said yes. She broke rule 2, never moving with a man. She told herself it was just a weekend. It was fine. She was in control. The weekend became a week. The week became 2. 2 became a month. She stopped going back to Surulere. Adalgo looked around Tobe's apartment. Marble floors, big TV, kitchen she had never used because they ordered food every night. A closet filling up with clothes that were not there a month ago. A life she had always wanted. She called her friend. I think I found him. I think he's the one. Her friend asked the question Adalgo had trained herself to always ask, the question from rule 1. What does he do for a living? She opened her mouth and realized she did not know. She asked him, Tobe, what exactly do you do? He was eating. He looked up. He chewed slowly, swallowed. Business. What kind of business? Import, export. It's boring. You wouldn't be interested. He smiled. She let it go. She should not have let it go. 2 weeks later, the first crack. She woke up at 1 a.m. The bed was empty. She walked to the living room. Empty. Kitchen. Empty. Bathroom. The bathroom door was locked. She put her ear against it. She heard water running. That was normal. But underneath the water, she heard something else. A voice. Tobe's voice. But not talking on the phone, not singing, not humming. Chanting. Low. Rhythmic. Words she did not recognize. Not Igbo, not Yoruba, not English. Something else. Something that sounded old. Older than any language she had heard before. She knocked. The chanting stopped. Water stopped. Silence. Tobe, 3 seconds of nothing. Then the door opened.
Hey,
He was
are you
smiling,
okay?
towel around his waist.
You
Normal.
seem a little jumpy.
Sorry, did I wake you?
I'm fine.
She looked past him into the
Sure?
bathroom. Steam on the mirror, water on the
You
floor,
look like you've
but
seen
something else in the air. A smell, sweet but wrong, like overripe fruit mixed with something burnt. What were you doing? Praying. Praying? Yes, I pray at night sometimes. Old family tradition. She went back to bed. She did not sleep. The second crack. She was looking for a phone charger in his bedroom drawer. She found something else. A photograph. Old, faded, creased like it had been folded and unfolded 100 times. In the photograph, a young man stood in front of a building. The building looked like a shrine, red cloth tied around a tree, bottles and objects on the ground. The young man was shirtless, chalk marks on his chest. The young man was Tobe. She stared at it. He looked younger, maybe 18. His eyes were different, not the calm, confident eyes she knew. These eyes were wide, scared, like he was standing somewhere he did not want to be. She heard the front door open. She shoved the photo back, closed the drawer, sat on the bed, picked up her phone, pretended to scroll. Tobe walked in with food. I bought suya. Thank you. He looked at her. Something flickered across his face. Quick, gone. You look pale. Are you okay? I am fine. She was not fine. The third crack was not something she saw. It was something she felt. She woke up one morning and her body was wrong. Not sick, wrong, like something had shifted inside her overnight. She looked in the mirror, same face, same skin, but her eyes looked tired. Not sleepy tired, drained tired, like something had been pulled out of her while she slept. She stepped on the scale. She had lost 4 kilos in 2 weeks. She was not dieting. She told Toby. He touched her face gently. You are working too hard. You need rest. She was not working at all. She had not worked since she moved in. She started having nightmares. The same dream every night. She was standing in a dark room. The floor was wet. She looked down. The floor was not wet with water. It was wet with something dark, something alive. It was moving. She would try to run, but her feet were stuck. Not to the floor. Her feet were sinking into the floor, like the floor was swallowing her. She would scream, and in the dream, from the corner of the dark room, she would hear a voice, Toby's voice, calm, gentle. Relax, it will be over soon. She woke up every time gasping, and still she stayed, because the apartment was nice, the money was there, the life was comfortable, and admitting something was wrong meant admitting she had made a mistake. Adaugo did not make mistakes, remember? She was about to. It was a Saturday night. Tobe told her he was going out, business meeting. He would be back late. She noticed what he was wearing. All black. Black shirt, black trousers, black shoes. She had seen this before. 3 times in the last month. Always late at night. Always all black. Always business. She almost asked. She did not. He kissed her forehead. His lips were cold. She flinched. Stay inside. Do not open the door for anyone. He left. She ordered food, watched a movie, scrolled her phone. Normal evening. She fell asleep on the couch around 11 p.m. She woke up at 2:47 a.m. Not because of a sound, because of an itch. Her left arm was itching. Not normal itching, deep itching, under the skin, like something was moving beneath the surface. She scratched. It got worse. She sat up. She looked at her arm. In the blue light of the TV, she saw her skin ripple. Not a twitch, not a muscle spasm, a ripple, like something underneath was pushing upward, trying to get out. She froze. She watched. It happened again. A small ridge moved from her wrist toward her elbow, slowly, like a finger dragging under fabric. Then it broke through. Small, white, thin, a worm pushing through the pore of her skin, like thread being pulled through fabric. It emerged about half an inch, then another one beside it, then another. She did not scream. She could not. Her mouth opened. No sound came out. Her brain could not process what her eyes were seeing. It was like her mind hit a wall, crashed, rebooted. She looked at her other arm. Same thing. Her stomach, same thing. They were coming from everywhere. Her arms, her legs, her belly, small white worms pushing through from the inside. Not fast, slow, deliberate, like they had been waiting and finally received permission to leave. She screamed. The sound that came out of her mouth was not a normal scream. It was the sound of a person's mind breaking, raw, animal, the kind of scream that makes neighbors lock their doors instead of opening them. She ran to the bathroom. She turned on every light. She looked in the mirror. Her face. They were under her face. She could see them moving beneath the skin of her cheeks, tiny ridges traveling like veins that were alive. One pushed through beside her nose. She grabbed it, pulled. It was real, solid, alive in her fingers. She vomited. She fell to the floor. The tiles were cold. Her body was shaking so hard her teeth were clicking. Her arms were covered. Her nightgown was stained with things that should not come from a human body. The bathroom floor was dotted with small white shapes that curled and uncurled in the fluorescent light. She crawled to the bedroom. Her phone, where was her phone? Couch, living room. She crawled across the floor, her arms leaving streaks. She found it between the cushions. 3 a.m. She called her mother. The phone rang 7 times. Her mother picked up. Hello? Mama? Silence on the other end. Then her mother's voice changed, sharpened, The way a mother's voice changes when she hears something in her child's voice that should not be there. Chidinoma, what happened? Wait, Adaugo, what happened? Mama, my
Things are
body.
coming out
Something
of
is
my
happening to my body.
skin, Mama.
What do you mean? Are you hurt? Did somebody hurt you? Things are coming out of my skin, Mama. Worms, they are coming out of my skin. Her mother did not gasp, did not scream, did not ask if she was sure. Her mother said one sentence. Where is the man? Not which man, the man. Like she already knew, like she had been waiting for this call since the day Adaugo told her about Tobe. Like every mother in Nigeria has a nightmare about this exact call. He's not here, Mama. He went out. When? Hours ago. Mama, please, please, come, please. I am coming. Listen to me. Listen carefully. Get out of that apartment right now. Do not take anything. Do not take the clothes he bought you. Do not take the phone he gave you. Do not take anything that man gave you. Walk out with nothing. Go to the gate. Wait for me. Mama, I cannot walk. I cannot. Adaugo, stand up now. She stood up. She walked out of that apartment at 3:15 in the morning, barefoot, wearing a nightgown stained with things that should not come from a human body. She left everything behind. The clothes, the shoes, the bags, the phone he gave her. She carried only her old phone, the one before him. She sat at the gate of the estate. Lagos at 3 a.m. is not empty. There are still cars, still generators, still life, but it feels empty. It feels like the city is wearing a mask, and behind the mask, something else is watching. She sat there, and she waited for her mother. And the worms kept coming. Her mother arrived at 6 a.m. She came with her uncle, a deacon in their church, and a woman Adaugo had never met, an older woman, Igbo. She took one look at Adaugo and said nothing. She just nodded slowly, like she was confirming something she already suspected. They did not go to a hospital first. They went to a church. I am not going to describe what happened there, not because it is secret, because it is not my place. What happens between a person and their spiritual healing is their business. I will only tell you what Adaugo told me. She said it took 3 days. She said it was the most painful experience of her life. More painful than the worms, more painful than the night, because the night was something happening to her. The healing was something she had to do. She had to participate. She had to face what she had allowed into her life, and facing it meant admitting every choice that led her there. Every ignored warning, every red flag she painted green, every rule she broke because the reward seemed worth it. She said the worst moment was not the worms. The worst moment was calling her mother. Because in that moment, she was not a sharp Lagos girl anymore. She was not strategic. She was not in control. She was a child, screaming for the one person who could not be fooled. The one person who saw through every lie, every excuse, every performance. Mama. That one word carried everything. They went back to the apartment. They had to. Her documents were there, her real phone charger, her old clothes from before. The apartment was empty. Not Tobe moved out empty. Empty. No furniture, no TV, no marble floor shine. The apartment looked like it had been vacant for months. Dust on the windows, cobwebs in corners, a smell like a place that had not been opened in a long time. The clothes he bought her were gone. The shoes, gone. The bags, gone. Everything he had given her had vanished, like it never existed, like it existed only as long as he wanted it to. The estate security said they had no record of a tenant named Tobechukwu in that apartment. The neighbors said the apartment was empty since the previous tenant left 8 months ago. 8 months ago. Adaugo had been living there for 3 months, sleeping on a bed that did not exist, walking on floors that were not real, wearing clothes made of nothing, loving a man who was not a man. They never found Tobechukwu. His phone number was dead. His Instagram was deleted, not deactivated, deleted, like the account never existed. The lounge where they met, the staff did not recognize his description. The friend who introduced them, she said she had never heard the name Tobechukwu in her life. Adaugo showed her their chat messages. The chat was empty. Every message gone. Every photo gone. 3 months of conversations wiped, like a hand passing over sand. He was not a man who left. He was a man who was never there. Adalgo asked me why I wanted to tell her story. I told her the truth. I said because it is not just her story. It is a story that is happening right now, tonight, to someone watching this video, to someone who just got a gift from a man who gives too much, to someone whose body has started feeling wrong and they do not know why, to someone who is ignoring the voice in her head that says something is not right. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said something that broke me. She said, I was not tricked. That is what people do not understand. I was not tricked. I saw the signs, every single one. The bathroom chanting, the photograph, the weight loss, the nightmares. I saw all of it. I asked her why she stayed. Because leaving meant going back to Surulere, back to the small room, back to the struggle. And I told myself, whatever this is, it is better than that. She looked at me. It was not better than that. This story is not about a monster. It is not about juju. It is not about rituals or the occult. This story is about a transaction. Adalgo traded her safety for comfort. She traded her instincts for luxury. She traded every warning, every red flag, every voice in her head that screamed run for one more night in a nice apartment. And the price came due. It always comes due. The elders say, what you do not pay for at the market, you pay for at home. Adalgo did not pay at the market. The clothes were free, the shoes were free, the apartment was free, the love was free. Nothing is free. The worms were the bill. But here's what I cannot stop thinking about. Adalgo saw the signs. She knew and she stayed because poverty was scarier than the signs. That is the real horror of this story. Not the worms, not the vanishing apartment, not the man who was never real. The real horror is that in this country, in this city, the fear of being poor is so deep, so total, so crushing that a girl will sleep next to a chanting stranger and tell herself it is fine because at least the bed is soft. That should haunt you. It haunts me. If you are still watching, if you are sitting with this story the way I sat with it when Adalgo first told me, then you understand why these stories need to be told. Not to entertain, not to shock, to warn. Every story on this channel is a warning wrapped in a story, wrapped in the truth, the kind of truth your grandmother knew, the kind the city tries to make you forget. Subscribe, hit the bell. Adalgo went home. Back to Surulere, back to the small room, back to her mother's provision shop with the dusty shelves and the slow customers. She did not complain. She swept the shop every morning, she served customers, she counted change, she did the things she once thought were beneath her. Her mother watched her, did not say much, just watched, the way mothers do when they know their child has finally learned something that words could never teach. One evening, Adalgo was closing the shop, pulling down the metal shutters. A young girl walked past, maybe 17, dressed up, full makeup, high heels clicking on the concrete, a man in a big car waiting for her at the corner. Adalgo watched the girl get into the car. She opened her mouth. She wanted to say something, warn her, tell her, grab her waist the way her mother should have grabbed hers. But she stopped because she remembered. She remembered every person who tried to warn her. Her mother, her uncle, her aunt, her friend, even Tobe's security guard once looked at her with something that might have been pity. She remembered ignoring all of them. She remembered the exact feeling of being 20 years old and believing you are smarter than everyone who loves you. Adalgo closed the shutters. She went inside. She sat next to her mother. And for the first time in her life, she said 2 words she had never said before. Thank you. Her mother looked at her, confused. For what? For picking up the phone. Her mother put down her Bible, took off her glasses, reached across the table, and held her daughter's hand. She did not say anything. She did not have to. The phone call at 3 a.m., the drive to Lagos, the 3 days of healing, the silence afterward. That was the answer. That was always the answer. Mama. The first word we learn. The last word we scream when everything else fails. Listen to yours while she's still here to pick up. The next story goes back in time. Way back to a folk tale your grandmother told you when you were small. You thought it was a funny story about a tortoise and a feast in the sky. It was not funny. The original version was never meant for children, and the ending they removed will change how you see that story forever. That video is right here. The night has more stories. I will see you in the next one.